Primes, my knights, welcome to the headquarters. And if you haven't read Transformers, the Energon Universe, you're missing out because they just revealed a new matrix of leadership for the Decepticons. And they teased it in issue 19. I didn't really think of that because in issue 19, it was all about Megatron and his story about how he become who he is. And I love it a lot. I love him seeing struggling, fighting, and pretty much asking to stop because he was getting destroyed. Destroyed. I mean, Megatron's tough as nails. Like he go down swinging. Man, he really went down swinging. They did an awesome job on issue 19. But in that issue 19, they were hinting of a new matrix of leadership for the Decepticons. And I didn't really realize that. I thought it was just his origin story, just getting things started so people can understand and so forth. But with issue 31, reveals everything. So issue 31 really kicks off Megatron back into this type of simulation in his mind, or in the Matrix leadership called it's called Matrix of Oppression, which is a terrible name. They could call it the Dark Spark or the Dark Matrix. It's something more of like the opposite. Oppression. But it's okay. Names are names because they can always change the name later. But back to issue 31, Megatron was fighting his Decepticon allies because he's right now fighting the simulation to stop the simulation because it keeps pushing him, it keeps destroying him, breaking down to nothing but bolts, and he gets rebuilt. And again, he tries because the whole goal is him being the trial, and there's the only way to beat the trial is to be submitted and to pretty much give up. And Megatron's not that type of character to give up. He doesn't obey anyone but himself. Even if you watch Transformers Prime, you saw Megatron bow to Unicron because Unicron has power. And he was torturing him. So he had no choice but to obey. And he really couldn't fight back until he eventually did. So with issue 31, same thing. Megatron is fighting, but he's not getting tortured. Instead, he's getting tested again and again until he passes. And that's all it is. A test for Megatron. A test to see if he's willing to surrender, to do servitude, to let himself be used by the first Decepticon. And I love it because they actually really bring the tides and stuff into this Matrix leadership, kind of like Optimus had. He has other primes before him to guide him. Well, they didn't really guide him, but stuff like that. With the Matrix of Oppression, Megatron has Megatronus and two other Decepticon leaders that are in the Matrix of Oppressions. They never gave them names, but the designs are simple and cool. There's only 3 of them, so which is interesting, and that got me thinking how this whole Matrix of Oppression even started. How did Megatronus made this opposite matrix of the leadership? And I can't wait to see how deeper they're going to go into this lore, further down these issues. Because after Megatron finally gives up, finally surrenders, he moves on to the next trial. And Megatronus is right there before him. Pretty much short and simple. If you do not accept my servitude, Megatron's done. He's over. Game over. No coming back. And that's what Megatron did. He accepted Megatron's offer. Because Megatron's the matrix of oppression is pretty much using their will to dominate others. And it fits. Because, like, in issue 31, I mean, not in 31, issue 19, towards the end of the issue, it shows Megatron forcing his will on his captor. He kind of looks like Quintessa, but I forgot his name, and forced him to blast his own pet. And it looks like a giant metal griffin, and it destroyed him. And I'm like surprised, and it makes sense because it really fits in the lore a lot more better. Because in TV shows, like Megatron transforms into the handgun mode, and people and Starscream, Soundwave, or whoever has Megatron, they use it and fire and uses cannon because Megatron's very powerful in that form. But with this, it like really brings a lot more lore of him controlling the user's will and forces them to do things against their will. And I love that a lot. I mean, that's really cool. You know how cool it is to add something that's so nonsense with something cool with the meaning behind it. I just love it. I really do. Oh man, they're doing a really good job on these Transformers books. But yeah, and so because that his fourth transformation, it hasn't been shown yet. Because after Megatron agrees to Megatron's offer to serve, he smiles. Because either one, he's not going to actually do it, he's only doing it to secure his own survival. And later will dominate Megatronus and the other two Decepticon leaders before him. Or if they're going more towards the Transformers Prime, Transformers 1, how Megatron admires Megatronus, then this makes even more perfect sense because it's kind of like how Alpha Trion was the mentor to Orion Pax, which we all know is Optimus Prime. So to see seeing Megatronus being that Alpha Trion for Megatron, that's really cool. That's going to give a lot more lore and more character development, and not just for Megatron, but also Megatronus too. Because I hope the next couple of issues we'll get more lore about Megatronus, how all this started with his Matrix and stuff, and how that how you pass that down. Because the Matrix leadership's has to be chose. You have to earn it to be chosen by the Matrix leadership, if that makes sense. And so this is pretty much it. This is just a short, simple me fanboy out with this new issue of Transformers. So at the end of the issue of 31, Megatron pretty much gets crystallized and energized. And his Decepticon army slowly getting back up after getting beat by Megatron are concerned, and because they don't know what he's going to transform into. And I want to know how it's going to look like and what power upgrade he's going to get. Because remember, in issue 30, Optimus Prime is no longer a Prime no more. He's back to Orion Pax, but right now he's just calling himself Optimus. So this is going to be a major hurdle for Optimus to fight Megatron, who's power up, who has a Matrix, and who could be 3, even 4 times stronger than him. This is going to be a real difficult battle for the Autobots for sure. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys really enjoy it. But to give you a heads up, I won't be covering this Transformers comic books anymore because they come out really slow, and I really enjoy the story, so I want them to come out faster. Because I bought book 1 of the deluxe editions for the Transformers books, and I'm gonna wait until maybe a couple more months or maybe next year, then I'll start covering it. Or if some big revelation happened during the story and I see on Instagram or YouTube, then I'll buy it, read it, and then explain what happened. So just to give you a little heads up, if you don't see me post more about the Transformers Android universe, I will be talking about the Void Rivals, and also there's a new comic book that's connected to Transformers called Mask. I'll do my review on that once the first issue comes out. But that's it, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this Transformers video. Leave a like and subscribe. Have a great day.